The stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't.
The Aiken County Department of Public Safety has identified the individual you see on your screen, Cortavius Dorshawn Johnson, 23, of Augusta, Georgia. He's wanted for armed robbery of an individual at Walmart on August 1st. The victim was approached by Mr. Johnson while she was sitting in her car. Mr. Johnson pointed a handgun at her head and demanded her money. The victim gave Mr. Johnson an undisclosed amount of money and her cell phone, ruh-roh, and then left the area in an unknown white in color vehicle. If you think you know where police can find Mr. Johnson, please call the police or Crime Stoppers at 800-274-6372 or 800-222-TIPS, where you remain anonymous, unrobbed, and may get a cash reward of up to $1,000. A Crime Stopper wrote into Augusta Crime Stoppers Facebook page and wrote, "A friend of mine's home was just broken into on Vernon Drive. They broke in a rear window and stole money at least. There may be other things missing, but she's not sure." 3 black males were seen fleeing through a yard to Jeanne Road, that's Jeanne, and left in a faded silver metallic Mitsubishi. There may have been a 4th person that was driving them. 2 had short hair, 1 had longer. She may have more details later. About the same time, a possible gunshot went off, but it may have been nearby road work. Please call 706-821-1080 to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office to report if you know anything about this. They'll contact you with the proper persons investigating. If you know who or where these 3 black males may be, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tips to 803-441-8744, where you remain anonymous and unburglarized.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Many people in the CSRA know that my friends and I were for years back star river creepers. But we all left when we noticed the river creeper never threw away any of the trash she found, but would only pick it up, show it to the press, and put it back down. A while back, she came into a Port Authority meeting very late and chose to sit across from me at the table that had plenty of other seats after I was already seated. At the end of the meeting, where we had made progress on many river problems while she was not there, she stood up and said, out of the blue, with no provocation, that county commissioners were calling her and saying I was threatening her life.
I'm nothing to say to you other than I'm going to file a suit against you.
Well, why don't you tell me what on earth you're talking about?
And saying that you're threatening my life. I know.
No way, no chance, never, no way.
There's no way. We're done.
Right, if you'll tell me where that is at, I'll go look at it.
Hi.
We sent a copy of this video to each of the county commissioners asking that if any of them had told her that I was threatening her life, to please let me know. None of the county commissioners said I was threatening her life, so her bold-faced lie turned out to be a false flag ambush. Since this video where she says she's hiring a lawyer to sue me, she is the one who was served by Richmond County Marshal with eviction papers, suing to evict her from the building the marina says she hijacked from them. I've not been served with any lawsuits, eviction, or criminal charges, because if you don't break the law and pay your bills, You probably never will. Even though I'm no longer a river keeper, I still pick up trash all over the CSRA and especially all up and down the river, because when my friends and associates fly or drive in from all over the world to visit me, I can show them a pristine, beautiful, and prosperous town. We need your help to continue cleaning up our town, but we also need you to go to www.gfb.org. That's GeorgiaFarmBureau.org. And click on Ditch the Rule, where the EPA is creating a rule that says we will be severely hampered and even criminally charged if we use water to clean anything, including our businesses, farm, and town. Now that my friends and I have picked up so much trash there isn't as much as there used to be, our focus has now shifted to cleaning the bad guys out of our town that really are threatening lives and do get in the face of good guys like me and people like you, then tell bold-faced lies. Littering is a crime. If you see anyone littering, please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text your tips to tips at AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and clean up our town.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Have increased violations of your Fifth Amendment right to being secure in your property and the concept of due process and protection of rights, mirroring the increase in cop killings? Some people say yes, as the government breaks its own rules and seizes other people's property. Cop killings have gone up. Is government violations of the law creating a hazardous work environment? Some people say yes. Many people say it's a violation of the law to take things without due process. Many counties take things without due process and are looking the other way, while cronies of theirs may be committing organized grand theft auto and other conspiracies that have yielded other citizens 40 and 50-year prison terms. Today, the due process rights that protect property from arbitrary seizure are under assault. So what do you do when a county government says the car you own in full or the land you bought is no longer yours? Think this can't happen? Think again. A couple in Priest Lake, Idaho thought they found the land of their dreams, but instead, the EPA turned it into a complete nightmare. It all started when the couple, Chantel and Mike Sackett, purchased a .63-acre parcel of land where they planned to build a new home. They obtained all the new permits, followed all the local laws, then started work on their new home. Enter the U.S. government. Just as the couple started working on their home, the EPA showed up and demanded that they stop building. They then issued a compliance order that the couple restore the land to its native condition, plant trees and shrubs every 10 feet, fence off the property, and let this land sit untouched for 3 years. They then demanded payment of over $250,000 to request permission from the U.S. government to build on their own land. To make matters even worse, they began to fine the couple $37,500 per day. Those fines are now over $40 million. With few options available, the couple decided to fight the government in court. That's where the story takes another ugly turn. Apparently, the government has the power to block these types of cases because they are administrative decisions that cannot be questioned by the court. So far, the couple's case has been thrown out of the district court and the 9th District of U.S. Court of Appeals, Road piracy is a new term that has come about from towing companies illegally stealing your private property without due process, because they were referred to the item by the police. If you watch previous editions of Crime Reports and Rewards, you saw that no good deed goes unpunished resulted in our trying to help a law enforcement officer's meth-addicted child get home to the South Carolina law enforcement officer's home. As we were trying to get her back across that state line out of Georgia into South Carolina, where the meth highway is causing real problems everywhere, the girl stole our Mercedes AMG. She drove the stolen Mercedes AMG to Hilton Head Island, where the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office gave a towing company permission to tow the vehicle without notifying the owner that the vehicle had been found. As everybody remembers, a while back, a district attorney from the prosecutor's office found a diamond. She made no effort to locate the owner of the diamond, and the law had her arrested. Here's a quick little note that you can send to towing companies that are stealing your car under color of law. Notice the intent to sue. Seizure without warrant of any vehicle with manufacturer's serial number and not being returned after having asked you to return it verbally twice is a violation of the law. In another case, a green forest green Jeep Cherokee was stolen by a towing company. A notice was sent for notice for return of my property. On Thursday, January 17th, around 12:30 a.m., your company without warrant stole my automobile. This automobile is unencumbered and has no liens of any kind and is the private property of John Doe. I did not give you or anyone else permission to take my car. You took my property only on the say-so of someone from a county police department whom also did not have a warrant, which is a violation of the law. We see in Amendment 5 in our Bill of Rights, no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or process without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. At that time, you can demand that the said private property, your car, that you didn't have anything to do with disappearing in the first place, be returned to the following location within 72 hours of receipt. Statement of facts. If the property has not been returned within the time specified therein, Palmetto Towing agrees that each of the following is true, correct, and not misleading. That Palmetto Towing has obtained the property without consent of its owner. Palmetto Towing also committed the unauthorized use of a vehicle. 1. A person commits the crime of unauthorized use of a vehicle when A. the person takes, operates, exercises control over, rides in, or otherwise uses another vehicle, boat, or aircraft without consent of the owner. Palmetto Towing did commit theft by extortion in requiring that I pay money for the return of my private property, which was taken from me by them. Furthermore, several felony violations of law occurred. A person commits theft by extortion when the person compels or induces another to deliver property to the person to a third person by instilling in the other a fear that if the property is not so delivered, the actor or a third person will in the future A. cause physical injury to some person, cause damage to the property, engage in other conduct constituting a crime, and also take property by using theft by extortion. Theft by extortion is a Class B felony. Palmetto Towing at the time of the incident conspired after the fact with a corporation known as the County of Beaufort County and its county sheriff's department, which carjacked the above property at the time of the incident. Palmetto Towing has obtained the property without warrant issued from a court of competent jurisdiction in violation of the 4th Article in Amendment and the 15th Article of Amendment. Private property was seized by Beaufort County and one of its employees without a warrant, and said employee directed Palmetto Towing to take the property, though no accident or witnesses witnessed any crimes. Palmetto Towing conspired after the fact and refused to return our stolen AMG property after we asked for it real nice and even offered to pay the towing and some of the storage. When Palmetto Towing refused to accept the offered payment in full for the towing and part of the storage due to the fact that Palmetto Towing conspired with Beaufort County to steal private property without due process, Palmetto Towing and Beaufort County appear to be involved in a massive conspiracy to steal millions of dollars worth of private property against the good laws of our county, state, and federal. Palmetto Towing is undoubtedly committing extortion by requiring that anybody pay them a fee for a vehicle that is stolen from them and ends up in Beaufort County. This is also a violation of unreasonable seizures. No law shall violate the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search or seizure, and no warrant shall issue upon probable cause as supported by oath, affirmation, particular describing the place to be searched and person and things to be seized. No warrant was issued. Therefore, when people who are just a towing company steal on behalf of people who are just an incorporated entity, such as a county, they have committed a conspiracy to steal private property, which is a felony. Here you include a self-executing agreement, terms of condition, and power of attorney granted. Palmetto Towing agrees that if it has not returned the property described within 72 hours to the above-mentioned location, it agrees and consents to the following without reservations and without any defense. Palmetto Towing is renting our AMG for $200 a day. Palmetto Towing shall obtain exact replacement value insurance so that the property that they have stolen is protected until they return it. Palmetto Towing shall pay each day's use, including keeping the property without using such. Palmetto Towing shall pay a weekly rental fee, the sum of $1,400 within 3 days receipt of bill presented. Palmetto Towing shall pay a late fee, that is 60% of the daily rental fee, the sum being as an additional daily surcharge, if all sums due are not paid within 72 hours upon receipt of demand. Palmetto Towing shall cease damaging, abusing, removing any equipment, accessories, and it shall install new equipment or accessories if they are damaged, but shall take the property to have maintenance done at least 2 times per month. Palmetto Towing shall pay a $45,000 surcharge in the event a Palmetto Towing or its successors, assigns an agents, sell the property at auction or otherwise. In the event of an auction, in addition to the surcharge mentioned paragraph 7 above, Palmetto Towing shall give all money given in consideration received to Griffin at Augusta Crime Stoppers, and shall not make any deductions for the cost of the auction or sale itself, nor shall it charge any daily surcharge fee, impoundment fee, release fee, or any other sum not required by Griffin to perform in any way. Palmetto Towing consents that Griffin, in the event of any arrearages occur, including but not limited to the delinquency in payment, that Griff Griffin may file a UCC financing statement against all of Palmetto Towing's property, vehicles, tools, bank accounts, and maintain the financing statement until all satisfaction has been fully paid, and that such financing statement shall never be deemed bogus. Palmetto Towing consents that in the event of arrearages or delinquency occur, that Griff Griffin or his agents assigns may take possession of any property owned, held, including property held in trust by its owners, and may trade, bargain, or sell any equipment to offset any debts that may occur in the future. Palmetto Towing states that any equipment, property traded, sold, or bargained, that the value of the property shall be deemed whatever John Doe or Griff Griffin deems said property to be worth, and never shall be its replacement value. Palmetto Towing, its parents, city, or successors, and assigns, and agents shall forever strictly comply with each provision agreed to herein as covenants. In the event that no satisfaction occurs either for the return of the property, Palmetto Towing grants Griff Griffin a general power of attorney to conduct an involuntary bankruptcy lawsuit in order to settle all matters related herein described, and additionally to receive all sums due and mentioned herein to Griff Griffin. Said power of attorney shall not expire or be canceled or terminated until full satisfaction has been made. Furthermore, the parties saith not, this 9th day of October 2014. Sincerely, Griff Griffin. This would be considered just a shot over the bow to towing companies that are violating the law, stealing your things in front of God and everybody, and saying that they're doing it under color of law. What's happening is the unlawful, illegal seizure of private property without due process is causing our LEOs to be forced to work in a hazardous work environment. Also, whenever private companies conspire with any government entity that relates to police, it causes people not to want to call the police. Currently, it is estimated that up to 50% of all crime is no longer reported because the last thing people want to do is call the cops. A lot of people are now saying, whatever you do, don't call the cops. And that reasoning is very valid. Recently, cops showed up after being called and shot a neighborhood furry family member. Recently, cops showed up after being called and shot the lady who called them. Recently, cops showed up, and you see the pattern here. So, as Crime Stoppers tries to get people to call the cops, call the cops, call the cops, we're unable to get the cops called by the public because the public is scared to death that they'll get shot, their private property seized without due process, and that they get involved in a giant court case. You see, government and their cronies, such as towing companies, have your tax money to spend. Private individuals do not. So the best time to wait to file a countersuit on these people who are stealing your private property is if they'll notify you of the court date. Unfortunately, this is why we object to it, is no lawful service is proceeding. In other words, no due process is happening. This is causing a violation of the law and creating a hazardous work environment for law enforcement officers who are caught between greedy local governments that are breaking the law and they're just trying to protect the citizens.
The suspect went up onto the hood, grabbed a hold of the top of the hood up near the window, and continued firing through the windshield.
I didn't know it was an officer until I got around closer. And then as I got around closer, then that's when I could see, I could see the front of his uniform. I could tell that it was an officer.
The average citizen in the United States has no idea that 150 officers a year are killed on the streets in the United States. They have no idea.
Jaime Padron's little girls, 6 and 10, Adriana and Olivia, they're never going to have a tomorrow with their father. They're never going to have another Christmas with their father. Their father's not going to see them get married and walk down the aisle, which is every father's dream.
Yes, he was a cop. He was killed in line of duty. But that tends to go away. People have short-term memories. I remember the person. I remember the cop.
Having had this happen, you start to think, wow, okay, a $50,000 life insurance policy. My husband is dead. He's really worth more than $50,000. He's priceless. I can never get him back.
Can't delete his number. It's almost like if I delete his number, I'm admitting that he's not here. That he's gone. I mean, I know he is, but I still can't accept it. I still can't.
Attention all units on the green radio. South Sac has an 1199 in progress. Officer down. Shots have been fired. No further information at this time. When we have further, I will update you.
Motorcycle deputy with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office on his way home after getting off from work was shot and killed at approximately 1:18 this morning.
To some, he was just a face that you saw around the station. He was a name that you might have saw on the roster. To others, he was just the ID number 3510. But to me, he was a lot more than that. He was my friend. He was my brother. And I loved him.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.